They can figure us out. Guys, don't get trapped. We call them traps. Let's call them traps. It's a trap. They trap you, but they catch you.
If you let somebody talk you out of a place that God has put you in, you are going to find yourself in hell. So you've got this highbrow who is all up in the air.
Like Tyler Perry, he paints a very negative portrayal of black men. We ain't that bad. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, Tyler Perry makes us seem like we ain't shit.
Eddie Murphy allegedly leaked Tyler Perry's name to the FBI. And let's just say, Tyler is not taking it lightly.
So we were sitting in the service and I leaned up toward him and I said, I've just been touched to give $1 million.
Sources claim the entertainment mogul is furious, sending what some are calling downright brutal threats to Murphy.
Tyler Perry told his male actors they're not allowed to consort with me because I saw you at a Diddy party, Tyler.
Is Tyler's carefully crafted image crumbling before our eyes? And just how far will he go to silence Eddie Murphy and save himself from what's shaping up to be Hollywood's biggest takedown in years? Let's find out. Every time Diddy's shady dealings with artists come up, somehow Tyler Perry's name always gets thrown into the mix. Strange, right? When the same whispers keep circulating, there's usually a reason behind it. Here's the twist. Rumor has it Tyler Perry might actually be working under Diddy. And guess who spilled the tea? None other than Eddie Murphy himself. Sometimes those gut instincts turn out to be spot on. Let's dive into what Eddie had to say about it.
Racism. I ain't hooked up in all that racism shit. My motto in life is just be happy with mother.
Eddie Murphy just unleashed a truth bomb about Hollywood's treatment of black actors, and he didn't hold back. He called out the industry for deliberately keeping black actors divided rather than united, exposing the shady tactics used to fuel this separation. According to Murphy, it's not just a surface-level issue. It's a deep-rooted strategy that pits black actors against each other instead of fostering solidarity. Even worse, he warned that these toxic dynamics are being passed down to the next generation, widening the divide within the community. It's a harsh reality that desperately needs to be addressed.
I ain't say shit. I mean, I ain't in it. Huh? What sucks? Reaganomics sucks? Or tell us something we don't know.
But why is there so much fear? People have been talking about Eddie Murphy's insane output, like over 50 movies in under 5 years. But only a handful of those films were directed by black directors. That really makes you think about how the industry operates and might explain why Eddie and Tyler Perry haven't linked up on a project yet.
Listen to me, I would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls, so maybe one day we'll have a conversation. But I think Eddie got to a place in his life, it's like, look, I've done it all, I've seen it all. Peace out.
It's like there's this weird hesitancy, you know? And it's not just them. The same energy seems to be why we haven't seen Will Smith and Denzel Washington team up for a bunch of films, the way Al Pacino and Robert De Niro keep doing. It's almost like some unspoken rule is keeping them apart. And honestly, it's a shame because the kind of magic they could create together, that would be legendary.
Yeah, it was wise. Especially that we are meeting kind of for the first time. That's important. So yeah, that does help.
The reason Tyler and Eddie Murphy haven't teamed up seems to go a bit deeper. Right now, people around the world are waking up to just how vulnerable Black lives really are, mainly because of all the messed up outcomes tied to systemic issues. With the Black Lives Matter movement gaining steam, more folks are realizing how important it is to push for real change, especially when it comes to economic empowerment.
The president of the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce says more businesses are seeking her help.
Eddie Murphy's been dropping some hints about shady stuff going on in the industry, and it's got people wondering if Tyler Perry might be mixed up in it. Funny enough, Eddie's only Oscar nomination came from Dreamgirls, which was directed by Bill Condon. And in interviews, Eddie even admitted he didn't give that role the same effort he puts into his comedy work. It's like he's low-key exposing how things can get pretty twisted behind the scenes in Hollywood.
One of the greatest, funniest people of all time was George Carlin, and he received this award posthumously.
Critics are still breaking down Eddie Murphy's iconic performance in The Nutty Professor, where he went all out with makeup and prosthetics to play the entire Klump family. And it wasn't just a one-time thing. He pulled off the same magic in the Coming to America movies, especially in that hilarious barbershop scene everyone remembers.
I ain't saying Clay ain't bad. I'm just saying I stopped liking Cassius Clay once he changed his name to Muhammad Ali.
During a chat on the Real Blend podcast with Coming to America director Craig Brewer, we got into the topic of Eddie Murphy's repeated snubs by the Academy. Brewer didn't hold back, saying, "It really bothers me. I feel like it's even more stilted against Eddie because people think it's easy for him. Sure, maybe some things come naturally to Eddie, but what people don't see is the work behind the scenes. I see him in the makeup chair, listening to music, getting into the zone, rehearsing lines. On set, he doesn't mess around. He goes back to his chair between takes and gets into this trance. Working and working. There's real craft there, but I worry people assume, oh, Eddie's just being funny like always. That's not true. Yes, he's hilarious, but it's not just flipping a switch." Fans agree it's an unfair judgment, and Eddie isn't the only comedian overlooked by the Academy. One person vented online, "No one ever said Hollywood had morals. The awards are rigged. Heat had one of the most realistic gunfights ever filmed, and it didn't even get an Oscar nod." Another chimed in, "Award shows are all about which studio spends the most to sway the jury, like Weinstein used to do. And let's not forget Hollywood's problem with child actors." Some believe these frustrations might explain why Eddie refuses to work with Tyler Perry. One Twitter user didn't hold back, blasting Perry's movies as biased and even making a video calling them trash for the world to see. And it sounds like she's got a lot more on her mind, too.
I'm not a Tyler Perry fan, so this is what I got to say. It's funny how he got all this money to do everything but the right thing.
The woman didn't stop there. She boldly claimed that Tyler Perry has a fear of white people, suggesting it influences how he makes his movies and the choices he makes. Her strong statement gained some traction, and others jumped in to share their thoughts on Tyler and his work.
And they said they loved the script, but they wasn't sure how the film was going to turn out, so they passed.
These videos imply that there might be a hidden truth beneath the surface. The question arises, what could be Tyler Perry's secret that has led some dark-skinned actors to decline working with him? Tyler Perry has certainly made a huge impact, rising from the Atlanta theater scene to dominating the box office with his Medea series. But like any success story, his journey hasn't been without its bumps and controversies. There are whispers that Perry's ego may have gotten a bit out of hand, leading to clashes with big names like Oprah. In Hollywood, the game can be cutthroat, and sometimes you have to get a little ruthless to succeed. And it seems Tyler Perry isn't above that kind of pressure.
Hearing all this noise, man, it was crazy because there were no black people on television. Before diversity became a thing, Tyler Perry was the only one out there for a long time.
Tyler Perry's leap into television with his sitcom House of Pain was a major move, but it came with its fair share of drama. When he was negotiating a syndication deal and a spin-off series called Meet the Browns, things got a bit messy. According to Deadline, Perry fired 4 writers who were asking for union contracts, which set off some serious outrage in the industry. Writer Terry Jackson didn't hold back, saying, "We were good enough to create over 100 episodes, but now that it's time to benefit from the syndication and spin-offs, he decides to let us go unless we accept a terrible offer." Perry's response? He pretty much said he'd just take over all the writing himself. But that wasn't the end of the union clashes. In 2015, actor unions SAG-AFTRA and Actors Equity banned their members from participating in Perry's stage play Medea on the Run because his production company refused to sign union contracts. It seems like Perry is all about raking in as much cash as possible, but not everyone is on board with his approach.
There's a camera on you, baby.
There's a camera on me right now?
Back behind you.
Oh, hello, praise the Lord. We'd like to tell everybody in Dallas that we are on our way. Thank you.
After the success of House of Pain and Meet the Browns, African-American journalist and cultural critic Jamilah Lemieux wrote an open letter to Tyler Perry that was published by NPR. In her letter, Lemieux shared her unease with Perry's reliance on stereotypes in his work. She expressed her thoughts, saying, "Through her, the country has laughed at one of the most important members of the Black community, Mother Dear, the beloved matriarch. I just can't quite get with seeing Mother Dear played by a 6'3" man with prosthetic breasts flopping in the wind. Our mothers and grandmothers deserve much more than that. Heck, our fathers and grandfathers deserve more. Mr. Perry, you have told the Hollywood old guard to kiss your backside, and I appreciate that, brother. But many Black folks have expressed some of the very same attitudes about your work that white critics have. Acclaimed director Spike Lee is also among the notable figures who have criticized Tyler Perry for his use of stereotypical characters. Lee has been vocal about this issue, openly addressing his concerns with Perry's approach to storytelling.
Well, I still think there a lot of stuff that's on today is coonery and buffoonery. and I know it's making a lot of money.
Spike Lee pointed out that movies filled with stereotypes are part of why folks like Tyler Perry are breaking records. He thinks the industry could really up its game by steering clear of those biased, one-dimensional flicks that just don't cut it.
Breaking records, but we could do better.
Tyler Perry's way of casting and creating characters has caught viewers' attention, sparking conversations about his business strategy. Some people feel that he often casts dark-skinned actors as the villains while making white-skinned characters the heroes in his films and shows. This viewpoint has led to some pretty heated discussions among his audience.
Pitiful black woman being by a no-good, dark-skinned man, and then saved and rescued by the perfect light-skinned man.
During an event, Chris Rock called out a recurring theme in Tyler Perry's movies, highlighting how there's often a lack of kind and respectful black boyfriends in his films. He made his point by referencing Tupac Shakur, suggesting that Perry's movies could benefit from more diverse character portrayals. Rock quipped, "Tupac might be a political leader if he were alive, but then again, Tupac might be in a Tyler Perry movie right now. You never know. He might be the bad, dark-skinned boyfriend in a Tyler Perry flick." Rock was pointing out that Tupac was a legendary and influential rapper during his time, but if he ever landed a role in a Tyler Perry movie, it's likely he wouldn't be cast as a hero given Perry's usual casting choices. He went on to say, "I'd hope he's a senator, but he might just be kicking Jill Scott down a flight of stairs." In Tyler Perry movies, there's always this pattern. Rock's perspective echoed Spike Lee's criticism, as both emphasized that some popular films might find success due to Tyler Perry's biased casting and storytelling choices. They raised important questions about how this kind of ideology affects the film industry as a whole.
Are we going back to Mantan Moreland and sleep and eat?
Yet, if those films, I mean, we're talking about Tyler Perry.
When you dig deeper into the entertainment industry, it's evident that colorism has been an issue lurking in the shadows for way too long. Hollywood has especially faced a lot of heat recently, with media-driven campaigns and hashtags making waves from Twitter to TV news. While there have been plenty of scandals, it's important to remember that one of the first big names to draw negative attention to the industry was Harvey Weinstein, who was convicted of S offenses. In 2017, a flood of SA allegations came to light, exposing the darker side of Hollywood's culture.
A new documentary that is all about the dark side of Hollywood and how some power players allegedly use their positions to prey on young, aspiring actors.
And this ultimately made moguls like Diddy. While Tyler Perry has carved a prosperous path within the gospel play realm, he's effectively extended his triumph to the film industry, bringing his contemporary portrayal to a larger cinematic canvas.
Oh, it's a stage play. It's like Broadway, just with black people.
Remarkably, his latest book, Don't Make a Black Woman Take Off Her Earrings, even secured a spot on the prestigious New York Times bestsellers list. This prompts an inquiry. What underlies this phenomenon? Why do these artists engage in acts that seemingly emasculate themselves? And why does the audience eagerly embrace the spectacle of the black man being subjected to such humiliation? The portrayal of black masculinity in a more feminine context could potentially lead to a perception of reduced threat and increased ease for certain individuals. Such cross-dressing depictions of black men might function as a way to counterbalance the dominant and forceful image commonly associated with hip-hop culture. Over the span of several years, it's been reported that Hollywood played a significant role in perpetuating various stereotypes, unfortunately contributing to the shaping of public perception about black individuals for a significant part of the audience. During this time, a debate emerged suggesting that due to the limited opportunities within the entertainment industry, black artists often felt compelled to take on stereotypical roles as a way to sustain their livelihoods.
A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you.
Although the entertainment industry hasn't fully reached a state of racial equality, present-day performers do have a certain level of control over their choices. What remains puzzling in the context of these current figures is their seeming openness to adopt cross-dressing roles, with Kevin Hart's name particularly prominent in this regard. Many people have come out to express that they are opposed to witnessing further instances of black men in dresses, with the belief that this phenomenon has run its course. Supposedly, our society is already influenced by numerous factors seeking to undermine the masculinity of black men, and there's no need to contribute to these forces in any way.
When things happen that can possibly affect your brand, your brand can be diminished, and you don't want that to happen. So, protecting my brand is definitely a priority.
Tyler and Diddy have been tight for years, always speaking highly of each other in public, doing business together, hitting up events and awards shows. And the parties? You already know what goes down at those. Rumors are swirling that the feds found video evidence of some wild stuff at these parties, and Diddy's own personal ex-bodyguard, Gene Deals, even hinted that other big names are caught up in it. Could Tyler be one of them?
But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Because you know who else they was doing investigation?
And now that Diddy's facing arrest, the heat's on. So what's Tyler running from? Hollywood is clearly shaking, and some folks are running for the hills. So, is this the beginning of a massive takedown in Tinseltown? People have since put 2 and 2 together and worked out that A, Diddy and Tyler are businessmen at heart, and B, Diddy needed tea-ed women, and Tyler seemingly provided them. But it's not just that. Tyler Perry has been spotted with Diddy on several occasions, such as events, award shows, and even parties. Yes, he has been to Diddy's parties, and you know what that means.
Those people who was caught at Diddy's party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders.
It's been reported that people like Tyler Perry are feeling concerned about P. Diddy's recent legal troubles, worrying it could open up a can of worms following his arrest. Diddy, who's been known to party with celebrities like Usher and Justin Bieber, now has some of his high-profile associates, actors and musicians, on edge. They're extremely worried their names could be mentioned if the case continues to unfold. Sources close to the Irish star said, Diddy partied with a whole host of famous faces over the years. They loved partying with him at his lavish soirees all over the world. Sometimes he would even have his face printed on fake dollar bills and make it rain all over the guests where models were handpicked to attend. Now, Hollywood circles he once mingled with are buzzing with talk that more names could come out as the case progresses.
When things happen that can possibly affect your brand can be diminished, and you don't want that to happen. So, protecting my brand is definitely a priority.
Adding to all the drama, Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has dropped some serious bombshells. He claimed that Diddy allegedly kept tapes of politicians caught up in his infamous freak-off sessions and hinted that Diddy's recent arrest might be connected to a much bigger corruption scandal that's currently rocking New York City politics.
I was like, no, I'm gonna look stupid. At the end of the day, you gotta know that you're a brand.
Gene, who worked for Diddy throughout the 90s, shared on the Art of Dialogue podcast that the charges could potentially drag in some major officials and celebs from New York. This comes just 6 months after federal agents raided Diddy's mansions in LA and Miami, where they supposedly found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. Prosecutors are saying these were used during those notorious freak-off parties.
So now with them finding all that and you being at a Diddy party, you know you may have done something that was caught on one of those tapes.
According to the allegations, Diddy would reportedly drug women and force them into lengthy encounters with male escorts during these sessions. While there's talk of tapes showing all this, prosecutors haven't officially confirmed if they exist. When Gene was asked if any celebs were caught on these tapes, his response was, Diddy, through celebrity parties. So what do you think? Gene also suggested that while the raids zeroed in on Diddy's homes, this situation is bigger than Diddy. Even though lawsuits like the one filed by his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, have popped up, California prosecutors didn't press charges. Instead, New York officials took the case, and Gene believes it's linked to ongoing corruption accusations involving city officials. People aren't going to connect the dots, he said, leaving a lot more questions than answers. And now it is in the form of movies and shows in which Tyler Perry is one of the major examples. And this is not hidden now, as we have seen in his movies that black-skinned actors are always villains in his movies. One major example is Steve Harris, who played Charles McCarter in Tyler's one of the most classic movies, Diary of the Black Mad Woman. He was a successful lawyer, but far from being an ideal husband. Shockingly, Charles discloses to his wife, Helen, the existence of another woman in his life and proceeds to treat her rudely, eventually kicking her out of their home. Blair Underwood portrayed the character Carlos in one of his movies. Carlos is depicted as a controlling investment banker who exercises dominance and control over his girlfriend in the film.
Must be out your mind.
Blair Underwood, known for his role in LA Law, has been a prominent figure in Hollywood for over 4 decades. His career began in the 1980s, and he has seen different phases as a black actor in the industry. Underwood recently shared insights into his early career and his encounter with Oscar-winning actor Sidney Poitier.
And of course, this is what the kids are now calling a Blassic movie. Black classic movie. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? They're so
I hadn't heard that. I like that.
innovative.
A Blassic movie.
A Blassic.
Okay.
During the 1980s, the representation of black faces on screen was rare, and the roles available were often limited and stereotypical, which didn't provide much variety for black TV viewers. Blair Underwood personally witnessed these challenges. He and Denzel Washington were seen as prime examples of black male representation on TV and in film during that era, receiving praise and recognition for their work.
For black women in the hood, you know, like now we're gonna do girls in the hood, and there was a little pushback. Like why they only want to see us as slaves or in the hood and Hollywood.
The challenges of limited and stereotypical roles for black actors seemed to persist into the 1990s. Blair Underwood recalled that during this period, virtually every black actor and actress in Hollywood, regardless of their name recognition or skill level, found themselves auditioning for the same roles, highlighting the lack of diverse opportunities in the industry.
I've been a history buff like most of my life. I love history.
You do?
I don't know a lot about history, but I love.
Philip Van Leer also got the chance to play a villain in Tyler's movies. He had a prominent recurring role in the first and second seasons of the show as a D dealer.
No. Harry, Brenda, Harry.
Hey.
Harry's a high school coach.
Ion Overman also appeared as a negative character in one of Tyler's movies named Medea Goes to Jail as Linda Davis, Linda in the movie, an envious assistant district attorney who is engaged to Joshua. She secretly engages in illegal activities such as fraud, evidence tampering, and providing false legal documents involving some of the people she has prosecuted. Ronrico Lee portrayed Chuck, an assistant district attorney and Joshua's friend in the film. Another actor, Brian White, was signed as a villain by Tyler Perry in his film I Can Do Bad All by Myself. He played the role of Randy, who is an abusive boyfriend and the antagonist of the show.
See the way you've been looking at me. See, this here my house, and I can let you two little nappy boys stay here.
Right.
You might notice that all the negative characters in Tyler's movies and shows are very abusive towards women. This thing has been very concerning, and many people raised their voices for this too. One such example was seen in his shows Bruh and Sistas. Bruh seems to revolve around the lives of 4 black men as they navigate various aspects of their lives, including relationships, friendships, and careers. The synopsis suggests that these men share a deep and enduring bond that resembles family, even if they aren't related by blood. Their close-knit friendship is characterized by warmth and camaraderie, evident from their bright and happy smiles in the promotional material.
She moving in.
You seem nervous.
I'm a little confused.
Wait. Okay, take it back.
The question here is, what's the reason behind such behavior with dark actors? Tyler Perry has always been tight with Diddy, but now rumors are swirling that he was caught on tape during one of Diddy's wild freak-off sessions and has even been spotted in court. Word on the street is that Diddy might be ready to throw Tyler under the bus for his own set of crimes just to cut himself a better deal.
You gotta put something together real soon because they're not playing with him. He has to put something together real soon and say, yo, listen to me. I know this, I know that. It's way bigger than Diddy.
Diddy and Tyler Perry go way back, and in 2023, everyone was buzzing about their battle along with Byron Allen to snag a majority stake in BET. In an interview with Billboard, Diddy even talked about wanting to team up with these 2 heavyweights. And let's be real, teaming up with other big names is just how Diddy rolls. He's turned his edgy rap persona into a billion-dollar empire. Some Wall Street insiders said Diddy wasn't playing it safe at all. He was cold emailing folks left and right with his business ideas. But guess what? Nobody was mad. In fact, a lot of them were super impressed. One CEO from the New York Stock Exchange even called him an inspiration, likening him to the founding fathers. Now, there were rumors flying around about Tyler Perry being involved in some shady human TF-icking stuff. And conveniently, that's when he popped up in a PSA about it. The timing is a little too perfect, don't you think? That's all for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.